Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So now that everything is set up here, let's see how we can actually save information here. Okay, so first of all, we try to save and see exactly what we get on the other side. So remember that whenever we type something, the save button here will be activated. So let me try and type something. As you can see, it's activated there. So if I click save, it should actually save. Let's see here. So the send data function will be activated, and then it will send some data and do a handle result here, which is cool. And then it sends to the same file. So let's go to the save section here. Let's see what happens when we just click save. Oh, of course, saved successfully. Okay, looks like things are working, but if I refresh, I don't get any of that information back. So nothing is being saved. So let's go and check that out. We're going to go to the controllers here, and let's look at the course controller. All right. So I want to wait, let's read the courses. It's the admin controller. Sorry about that. Then we go to the courses section, and down here, when something is posted, your course was successfully created. Okay, there's the delete and there's the edit. So this is where we want to be, on the edit section. So course landing page, tab name, okay, course messages, what else, intended learners, the save part is here. So this was the read part, the save part is here. Okay, so this is the beauty of organization. We can follow the code logically. Because it's been a while, I'm forgetting some of this code. So check if form is valid. Okay, so if it's save, we check for the CSRF code. Okay, and so the fact that we went to course saved successfully, it means we got here. So course validate, so everything was validated. So how did it go through? If it was, anyway, check if temp image exists, blah blah blah, and update. Okay, so did we happen to delete things while we were at it? Yeah, okay, no, things are still here, so that's cool. Okay, great. So what we are missing here is to know the specific tab we are on, because here we just have a save and that's it. So here we do have a thing to check for the tab. So let me copy this right there. So once we get to this, data type and tab name, these are important. Every tab needs to check for the code. That's fine. And then evaluation should occur on very specific places. And if things are not evaluated, then we are going to go to here. Okay, no, I think evaluation is important. Let's leave that there. And what else? Okay. So let me add this right here. We can move this around depending on if the functionality doesn't match what we want. So course saved successfully. Let me move everything over and do this. Okay. And then let me duplicate this like this, and then put an else statement there. So this one is not for intended learners. It's supposed to be for course landing page, because that's the one we have fixed so far. So I'll put course landing page here, and then intended learners will be here. So let me grab this just so I can see that things are working as intended. I will grab that and put it here. Okay, then I'll say course successfully saved for intended learners, so that I see that it actually got to this point. All right, great. So let me now refresh the page. Let's go to intended learners. Let's type something and let's save. Okay, so you see for intended learners, good. So things did go well up to that point. Nice. Now we can remove this because we know things actually work. Oh wait, before we remove this, let's make sure on the original course landing page, things are still saving as intended. Save. Please fix the errors. Great. Let's remove that and let's save. Please fix the errors. Language is required. Wasn't this already there? What's going on here? There is no English? What's going on? Wait. That's very strange. Huh. Interesting. isiZulu. Anyway, let's just add that. Who knows why the English is missing? We'll check that out later. Anyway. Alright, so back here, this is working fine. Let's come back here and type that. Things are still working fine. Okay, good. Now we just need to know what kind of data we sent on the other side. So instead of this, let's do that. Data type, I want the data. Let me duplicate this. Data to be whatever is inside the post variable. So I'll grab this and just say show post variable. Oh wait, this will just echo something, so that won't work very well. So what I want is instead data is equal to post, like this. Let's try this out. Okay, so it's an object, right? Let's convert it to a string. So say JSON encode, like that, so that it's a string we can read. Let's save again. Alrighty then, so this is what we received there. Data type saved, tab name, and CRF code. And then we received, let's see here, student, students learn, prerequisites, and who's, okay. So I see what's happening. So only the first item here is being saved. Let me make sure I can grab this. This is some text. Let me write something useful here. This is some text. So let's see if I can find this in there. So save, and it's not there. But if I move it to the bottom, I guess, let me move it to the bottom. You can just drag it to the bottom, and let's try and type something and save. You will see that this is some text fs, which I've typed there at the end. So what's really happening is that all these inputs are grouped because they've got the same name. It's only getting the last one. So if I say this is some more text down here, and here's a final input, like that, I will see these inputs in the save. You see this final input, this is some more text, and that one there. But I don't see anything in between. So if I type something here and save, I don't actually see that. Only the last item is taken because they all have the same name. If I right click here and say inspect, let's go to the inspector, and you see the name is students learn. But if I go to the next one, where is the other input? This one. Let's inspect that. Still students learn. Let's inspect this one. It's still students learn as the name. So we need the names to be unique for each item. So how do we do that? Let's go back to where we have intended learners view. No, this is not it. It's the courses view. So let's look for the part that creates the inputs. And this is the load input thingy. So down here, where is that? Load inputs. There we go. So add new is the thing. So let's go to the add new function right there. So there's an input here and it's got a name, object name. That's fine, but we need to make it unique by putting a number at the end of it, right? So what I'll do is I'm going to put an underscore just so I can remove the number later on. So put an underscore here and put a number like 1, but instead I want this number to be let's see here. Interesting. Now the thing is, this number doesn't really matter in the global scheme of things. It doesn't matter when we are saving the inputs on the other side. So it can be any number because we're going to remove it anyway. It's just to make each input unique. The only problem is we are not using a loop in here. So I would have put a number that increments every time we add a new input. The problem is we are calling the whole function a certain number of times, right? So what we could do is we can say add new here and then put an index for the item we are adding new here. So let's see where we're calling the add new from. We're calling it from the load inputs. So here is where we have the for each loop, right? So there's an I here which is unique for every item that we add. So when we load, yes. So every time we add new, now the problem is we can't just, actually we can. So what I'm going to do is, here when we call the add new function, let's add one more item. So here we are adding this title, and then we are adding an object. So the object has a placeholder and it has a name. So let's add one more thing. Oh wait, the name here itself can, since we are sending the name, we can actually add the I at the end of it. So grab this and let's go down here and put plus I. Great. Let's do the same thing here as well. Plus I, and then here as well, plus I. This way, each of these names contains a unique identifier every time we go through the loop. So let's try this again. Let me refresh. And now, let me add 1 here, 2, 3, and 4. I just want to see if I'll see all the inputs of these guys. So save. And there you go. You see, I have students learn 0. Oh, I've got an underscore 1 there that I left, but all the inputs are saved. Okay, all of them are here. If I add 1 here and 1 there and add new item, where do I add more? 2. Here I'll add 2 more. So I have 2 and 3. Now if I save, you see there's more inputs now. So the 3, 4, whose course has got 1. Wait a minute. Whose course 1, whose course 3? Where is 2? Interesting. Anyway, let me organize this a little bit better. Let me come back to this function here and remove the underscore 1 that I had added. I want to make sure that everything is going accordingly to plan. So let me add 2 items here. Let me add 3 items here. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. Here I have 1, here I have 2. Here I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so oops, cancel. Let's save. So when we save, we have students learn 0, 1, 2, okay, and 3. So 4 items, or up to 4. Prerequisite has 1 and 2, which is nice. Whose course has 1 and has 3. So 2 is missing, but why? Let me add one more, input 4. Let's see what I get from there. So let's save. So I do get whose course is just 1 and 4. Okay, maybe there's something being truncated here, but let me try this. Let me inspect the element. There's 0. Right. Okay, so the ones in the middle are not, so there's actually a bug here. The ones in the middle don't have the numbers. And then this one, inspect. Right. So only the first one has a number to it. Okay, so I see what's happening. It's because of those that I added later, they don't have a number. So that makes sense. So the reason is simple. It's because when we add, this is the add new button. Remember that we are sending an object here that has the placeholder and the name, but we haven't added anything here. So we need to figure out the name there as well. Interesting. So what can we do to fix this problem? Okay, let's do things in a more organized way. I don't want to start putting numbers here. So let me come back here again. Let me change things a little bit. So here when I'm sending the thing is I was adding +i. Let me remove that. I want the function itself, the add new function, to do this automatically so we don't have to worry about it. So what I'll do is, remember we have these variables here. So we can have one variable that counts how many times we've added and increment a number. So this is the beauty of proper organization. So I'll just duplicate this and say, I'll call this one inputs count, like this. So right now it will start with 0. That's what it starts with. I'll grab this, put this here, and put that there. Okay, great. So the inputs count should remain as it is. Now, every time we add a new item, we're going to go to the proper section and increment the inputs count. So what I'll do here is on the name, you see here we have object.name. Then I will also add, copy an underscore, and then put that as well. Now, instead of this, we're going to grab the intended learners. Students learn inputs count. So where are we? Right there. That, and then we'll say, since we're on intended learners here, wait. Okay, so there's nothing for a very specific thingy. So what we will do is we'll have the this is the students learn. ID is equal to section. What is the section? Section is equal to this. Where is the ID? That's what I'm looking for here. We're not even using this, right? So we replace this JS and this remains. Okay. Right. Hold on a second here. I just want to make sure that I'm replacing this ID won't do anything weird. No, it won't. We're not actually using it at all. So what I'll do is I'll duplicate and clean it up a bit more. So I want that ID so we have intended learners dot. I want it to shift to dot, like students underscore learn here in this case. So what I'll do is I'll just say ID is equal to ID dot replace, or I'll do that here. We only have one, replace all, and I'm looking for hyphens to replace to underscores. Then I can use this ID nicely. So come back here. So intended learners, instead of a dot, we're going to put ID here, and then say dot inputs count, like this. So what I'm doing here is that I'm telling it that whatever the intended learners, which is this object, ID, now this ID would depend what tab we're on, what section we're on. Here we have students learn, we have prerequisites, we have who's this. So once we grab this, we are removing this from the section, right? We remove the JS, and then we replace every hyphen with an underscore. Then we'll get students underscore learn. If it's this one, it will just be as it is. If it's this one, we'll replace that with an underscore. Then once we do that, it means we have these now, which we can check and get the inputs count. So currently it's 0. So it's just going to add the zeros to everyone. So let me just refresh to make sure things are working. So if I inspect here, I should see a 0 after the name. So there's underscore 0 for each one of these inputs, which is good. So the only thing I should do now is increment this number. So I'll come back here. Every time I add an item here, so we've added this item, let's increment this number. So I'm going to grab exactly this right there and then put it down here, and then say intended learners.id.inputs count plus plus, like that. So we add 1 to it every time. That way we never repeat ourselves. So let me refresh and see if this worked. So if I inspect there, I have 0. I should have 1 for a name here, and that's exactly what I see. And here, number 3. Now, even if I add a new one, it should automatically give me a 4, which is exactly what it has done. Add more, which is 9. Now, even if I delete some of these and come back, the number never goes back. So even though we have few here, okay, if I add one more, this one will be 6, even though this one is 4, I think. It's actually, oh wait, it's 5. Okay, great. Anyway, the point is things are working as intended. Oh, this one is 5. I deleted the ones in the middle here, so let me inspect. Okay, great. So let's try the same thing over here. So if I inspect, that's 0. If I inspect, that's 1. So things are working as intended. Now let me add more items and see if everything is received. 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's try and save. Yeah, everything seems to be working. So in the whose course, there's 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 items here. Prerequisites has 1, 2, 3. This one has students learn has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so every input is now accounted for. It's being sent to the other side for saving. So this is step 1. At least now we know everything. Even though we add more items here, they will all be accounted for. Let me try and save that. Let's see if it's there. And it's right there. Okay, very good. And if I delete some of these and add one more, let's just put y, and let's see that. And there we go, y is there. Okay, so all the inputs are accounted for. Now we just need to figure out how to save them to the database. I'll see you in the next video.